Hi there. Today we take what we've been doing the past couple days and take it to the next level. We've been proving triangles congruent. We have 4 shortcut ways to do that: side, 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 angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. We've got those 4 shortcuts. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at, well, once you have congruent triangles, what do you know about that? So look at this example. It's asking if ABC, this triangle, is congruent to GHI. Now, if I do that, if I'm trying to figure that out, I'm looking here and looks like I got a side, angle, side scenario right there. Do I have it over here though? I've got the 80, I agree with that, but I don't have anything on this side or anything on this side. I'd have to say no right now. But there's a reason they gave me this guy right here. Let's look at that. I've got a 38. Got a 62. I could do a little triangle sum theorem and figure out what the missing angle is, and that actually, if I subtract those from 180, this is an 80-degree angle here. And I could also come over here and do the same thing and find out, oh, that's a 62. All right, well, now all of a sudden here, I got something going on. If I look at these 2 triangles, I actually have what I could go with. I could this angle and this side and this angle. Don't I have the same angle, side, angle right here? All right, these 2 triangles are congruent. Now, if these 2 are congruent, I don't think I could, oh wait, well, I guess, hang on. If these 2 are congruent, before I get ahead of myself, then not only are the angle, side, angle the same, angle, side, angle. Yes, those are the same. That'd be enough to prove the triangle's congruent. But if they're congruent, remember that all their parts are congruent. So since this has a single hash mark here, I could make a single hash mark there also. This is a double hash mark. I can make a double hash mark. All their parts are congruent. Now, because of that, now I can actually, I got a lot of stuff marked. Now when I come look at these 2, now this side, angle, side that I actually have side, angle, side here also. My answer is yes, those would be congruent. Now here's the reason I would say that. It's because I was able to get some more stuff marked on this triangle. I was able to mark these, because these 2 triangles, let me get my pointer, these 2 triangles were congruent. I was able to show that, so I knew all their parts were. So I was able to add in a single hash mark. I was able to add in a double hash mark. Because they're congruent, all their parts are. That's what this means right here. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles. I just used corresponding parts of congruent triangles. There's actually a theorem that we use, and it says that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are also congruent. That's why I added in the double hash mark and the single hash mark on those sides, because I already had the congruent triangles, so I knew their corresponding parts would have to be congruent. So here's how you're going to use this. And we abbreviate it, CPCTC. Say it fast, 5 times. First, you got to prove your triangle's congruent. So same old proofs we've been doing. Then you're going to come back at the end, after you've got those triangles congruent, and you're going to say some set of congruent parts. You're going to say, oh, and these 2 angles are going to end up congruent, or these 2 sides are congruent, and that's because of CPCTC. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Let's look at one. My first goal is to prove the triangle's congruent, because if I can prove the triangle's congruent, then I'll know that KB right here and AC right here, those are corresponding parts of the 2 triangles. Those are going to end up having to be congruent also. Start with proving triangles congruent. I have 2 congruences right now. That's given. It's already marked in the picture for me. I'm looking for one more set of congruents so I can prove the triangle's congruent. All right, it's the old sharing a side thing. So I got BC is congruent to BC. That's the reflexive property. Now, is that the right thing to show that these triangles are congruent? It looks like I got 2 angles and a side, but it is not the included side, it's the angle side scenario. All right, I think I can show that these 2 triangles are congruent then. That's what I'm going to do. triangle KBC, congruent to triangle. Be careful how you label it. Remember, it has the order is important here. K corresponds to A, B corresponds to C, and C corresponds back to B. That was angle, angle, side. That's old news. That's what we've been doing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back with one last step and say, hey, I know that if I have these congruent triangles, then all their parts are going to be congruent. So not only the three that I have, but this side would have to be the same as this side, this angle is the same as this angle, but most importantly, what I'm trying to show, this side is the same as this side. My reasoning, corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. All right, that's our goal today. That's all we're doing. So it's just like one step after what we have already done with our proving triangles congruent. Let's set this one up. Got some segments that are congruent. They're already marked in the picture. I need one more congruence. Can you look at that and tell me what's one more congruence we could get in there? Did you say vertical angles? That's right, vertical angles right here. You got this angle and this angle are going to be congruent. I can't call it angle A. I got to use the three letters. Angle CAB is congruent to angle DAE, and that's vertical angles are congruent. Now I have my three congruences, so I'm able to say the triangles are congruent. I'm going to go triangle CAB congruent to triangle. C is going to correspond to E, it looks like. A corresponds to A, and B corresponds to D. Now my reasoning, let's look at it. I got two sides, and it looks like the included angle, so that would be side, angle, side. Okay. That's what we've been doing, proving the triangle's congruent. Now you have one last step. Since the triangles are congruent, all their parts are. Specifically, angle C congruent to angle E. That's the CPCTC. All right, here's the last one. I'm going to let you try this one on your own and see if you can do that. So pause the video, come back when you've got it figured out. Here's what I've got. I did a definition of midpoint in there to get another congruence, and I did a reflexive step. Those are my three congruences. My triangles are congruent by side, 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 and since the triangles are congruent, all their parts are by CPCTC. All right. Hopefully this won't be too bad for you. Good practice of continuing those proofs we've been doing. Good luck.